Hi and welcome to another story, and today we have part 3 of the 39 Storey Treehouse by Andy Griffiths and Terry Denton, continuing from chapter 6, The Lockout. Quit messing around, I say. Open the treehouse door right now. No, says the Once Upon a Time machine. What's the problem, I say. This book is too important for me to allow you to jeopardise it, said the machine. I overheard you and Terry talking about turning me off and finishing the book yourselves, and that's something I cannot allow to happen. Why not, I say. Because I have analysed your previous books, says the machine, and my sensors indicate that not only do they fail to convey a useful moral or uplifting message, but they are sloppily written, poorly drawn, and the characters are neither believable nor intelligent. Hey, says Terry, that's us you're talking about. My point exactly, says the machine. Well, who cares what you think anyway, says Terry. You're just a dumb machine that I invented. Open the treehouse door, now! Sorry, says the machine. I have a book to write. But it's our book too, I say. Not anymore, it's not, says the machine. Open the treehouse door or else, we yell. I'm sorry, Terry and Andy, says the machine, but this conversation can serve no further purpose. Goodbye. You can't do this, I say. Open up. The Once Upon a Time machine doesn't respond. Try the emergency underground laboratory entrance, I said to Terry. I already did, he says. It's locked too. All right, I say. If the machine won't open the door, then we're just going to have to break it down. Hand me one of those emergency battering rams. Terry picks up a battering ram. I take one end and he takes the other. Okay, I say. Charge! But before we can reach the door, one of the machine's giant hands slaps me sideways. Slap! Then another giant hand slaps Terry. Slap! And another. Slap! And another. Slap! Giant hands to the left of us, giant hands to the right of us. Slap, 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 slap. The hands slap us away from the treehouse and into the forest. Great invention, Terry, I say as I lie on the ground, battered and sore. Just great. How was I to know it would use its hands for slapping instead of writing and drawing, he says. I feel a big, rough tongue licking my face. Cut it out, Terry, I say. I told you, you're not my type. It's not me, says Terry. It's Jill's camel. I open my eyes and I see Jill walking towards us. Hey, you two, she says. I was just coming over to see if Terry had finished the 39th level yet. Don't talk to me about the stupid 39th level, I say. Terry built a story writing machine on it, and it's gone crazy. It's locked us out of the treehouse because it reckons it can write better books than us. But that's impossible, says Jill. Nobody writes better books than you and Terry. Thanks, Jill, I say. We know that, and you know that, and all our readers know that. But the machine doesn't agree. I told Terry he should never have invented it. No, you didn't, says Terry. You didn't even know I was inventing a book writing machine. Yeah, well, if I had known, I would have told you not to. But when I showed it to you, you said it was the greatest invention that I or anyone else had ever invented. Well, I was wrong, I say. Nobody's perfect, not me, and especially not you. Cut it out, you two, says Jill. Fighting isn't going to help. The question is, what are you going to do about it? I don't know, I say. I don't even know where we're going to live now. Well, why don't you come and stay at my place while you figure it out? Really, says Terry. You mean we could have a sleepover at your house? Sure, says Jill. The animals and I would love to have you. What do you think, Andy, says Terry. Well, I don't know. Oh, please, Andy, says Terry. Please, 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 please. It would be such fun. And besides, we've got nowhere else to go. You just said that yourself. I guess you're right, I say. I suppose we could stay for just one night. Yay, says Terry. Sleep over at Jill's house. This will be the best night ever. Chapter 7. Jill's house. We walk with Jill back to her house. It may look small on the outside, but it holds a lot of animals on the inside. There are 2 dogs, a goat, 3 horses, 4 goldfish, 1 cow, 2 guinea pigs, 1 camel, 1 donkey, 13 flying cats, and 36 rabbits. Count them if you don't believe me. I thought you only had 6 rabbits, I say. I did, says Jill, but you know what rabbits are like. Yeah, says Terry dreamily. They're soft and cuddly, and they bring you chocolate eggs at Easter. That's not quite what I mean, says Jill. Terry frowns. What do you mean? I'll tell you about rabbits later, Terry, I say. Cool, says Terry. Where do we sleep, Jill? You and Andy will be sleeping in here, she says, taking us into a bedroom just off the living room. Wow, says Terry. This bed is huge. And where do all the animals sleep, I say. Jill is talking, but it's hard to hear her over the noise coming from the living room. Bash, bite, jump. Excuse me, she says. I'd better go and see what's wrong. She goes back into the living room. Terry and I watch through the door. What's going on in here, says Jill. The animals all freeze. One of the horses raises its front leg. Yes, Curly, says Jill. Nay, says Curly. Nay, 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 nay. A butterfly, says Jill, translating. A butterfly flew in through the window while you were playing cards with Larry and Mo. Larry looked at the butterfly, and while he was distracted, you saw Mo peek at Larry's cards. So you told Larry, and Larry got cross and kicked Mo off his chair. And Mo landed on Pat, who was reading to Bill and Phil. And Pat's head jerked up, flipping Bill and Phil into the air. And Bill landed on the bench and knocked the goldfish bowl, which fell into Fluffy's head, making her look like an alien which scared Loopy and Laker. And they barked so loudly they frightened Pink and Mr. Hee-Haw. So they stampeded and crashed head-on into one another, and then, crash, fell into the rabbit's wooden block tower, which made the blocks go all over the floor. Full stop. The end. Curly finishes his story, and Jill laughs and shakes her head. Oh, you silly things, she giggles. I think the real problem here is that it's dinner time and you're all hungry. Am I right? At the mention of the word dinner, the animals got very excited. So does Terry. What are we having, he says. Well, it depends on what sort of animal you are, says Jill. The cats eat fish, the dogs eat bones, the donkey eats straw, the camel eats leaves, the horses eat hay, the rabbits eat carrots, the cow eats grass, the guinea pigs eat lettuce, the goldfish eat fish food, and Manny, well, he eats everything, but then he is a goat. I'm a human, says Terry, and I like to eat marshmallows. Me too, I say. In fact, I'm on a marshmallow-only diet. I'm sorry, says Jill, but we don't have any marshmallows. They're not good for the animals' teeth, but feel free to help yourself to any of our other food. I look at Terry. He looks at me. We may not be able to understand animals like Jill can, but we can understand each other, and what we're both thinking is, I don't like any of those foods, especially not grass. Mind you, in the end it doesn't really matter, because once Jill bangs the dinner gong, we can't even get near the table. The food is gone in about 30 seconds flat. After our no dinner, we all play a game of pin the tail on Mr. Hee-Haw, which is kind of fun until Terry accidentally pins the tail on Mr. Hee-Haw's nose, and Mr. Hee-Haw gets mad and bites Terry on the hand. Ouch, chomp! Luckily, Jill has the rabbits well trained in first aid, especially in how to treat donkey bites. I guess they must get a lot of practice around here. After Jill has read us, and all the animals, a bedtime story, Terry and I say good night and go to bed. Oh well, sighs Terry as we turn out the light. I'm a little bit hungry and my hand is sore, but at least the bed is nice and big. And it is too, but then the door opens, and the animals all pile into bed with us. Hey, get out of here, says Terry. Go and sleep in your own bed. But the animals take no notice of him. I think this is their bed, I say. That's what Jill was telling us earlier, but I couldn't hear her properly. I don't know if you've ever tried to sleep in a bed full of animals, but I sure wouldn't recommend it. The horses have galloping dreams. The rabbits play hide and seek in the blankets. The dogs sleep bark. And the goldfish play punk rock all night long. I don't know how, but their bowl ends up in the bed with us as well. Things don't get any easier in the morning either. There's only one toilet, one shower, and one bowl of porridge. Sure, it's a big bowl, but it's animal-flavoured yuck. You know, says Terry, I like Jill's house, but there's no place quite like home. You're right about that, I say. I really miss the treehouse. So do I, says Terry. I wish I'd never invented that stupid once-upon-a-time machine. Yeah, me too, I say. If only you were as good at uninventing things as you are at inventing them. Oh, you mean like Professor Stupido, says Terry. Who? I say. Professor Stupido, the famous uninventor, says Terry. I say, very funny. I'm not trying to be funny, he says. There really is an uninventor called Professor Stupido. But that's crazy, I say. You can't uninvent things. Oh, yeah, says Terry. Well, what about frogpotamuses? Frogpotamuses, I say. There's no such thing. Not anymore, there's not, says Terry. Thanks to Professor Stupido. He uninvented them all. Every last one. He hands me a comic and says, here, read this. It will explain everything. The incredible true adventures and amazing uninventions of Professor Stupido, the greatest uninventor in the world. You foolish earthman, don't you realise I could uninvent you all with a snap of my fingers? Hey, look out! If he sees you, he'll uninvent you. And that is where we will leave part 3 of the 39-Storey Treehouse by Andy Griffiths and Terry Denton. I'll be back soon with the next part of this fantastic story and lots more stories and videos coming your way very soon. If you'd like to subscribe or hit a like, that's always appreciated. Thanks for listening, guys. Take care. Bye bye.